So all that we are is the basic space of awareness and nothing else. Nothing need be done. Nothing need be said. In fact, you don't even have to rest naturally. If you just keep coming here, if you're not already convinced, if you just keep showing up in this space, you will be convinced. And it's not going to take you decades either. My planned obsolescence is my approach to what I do. I'm making myself obsolete. The reality of who we are is so direct, so entirely uncontrived, so totally free already, so naturally occurring, so absolutely spontaneous and present that it's very quick. What's already accomplished is very quick. It doesn't require turning 10,000 somersaults or standing on your head for 10 days or anything else. You already are who you are. How could all of those things lead you more to who you are? It's just like, well, you wouldn't feel that you had to meditate for 10 years to prove that you have skin covering your skeletal frame. It's that obvious. But this is even more obvious. This is even more obvious because things like being aware that there is skin covering a skeletal frame, that's all rooted in awareness. So you see, every experience we have, awareness is the constant. Awareness is the constant. Awareness is the constant. And to think even something like that this is the province of spirituality or religion or philosophy or psychology or science or whatever, all this is unnecessary, really. In one word, it's nonsense. Awareness of the commonality, the common frame of reference, the common denominator for awareness is human beings. We don't have to hole up inside of some kind of spiritual or religious construct or any other kind of construct. We just simply realize the basic space of our own awareness, and then we share that with other people. We say, hey, you're already in Paris. You're already in Paris. Guess what? You're already in Paris. It's that simple. And, I'm not talking about some kind of extreme of awareness is something that is just freedom from mental concepts. That's just an anomaly of point of view, kind of a nice place to hang out, sort of like finding an oasis. In other words, if it's a mirage. If we see an oasis and it's a mirage, it's a mirage. There's nothing there. So we already are who we are. And when we just simply allow ourselves to rest as that basic space of awareness, we realize that all these points of view, no matter what they are included and contained within awareness. And that awareness is a single expanse of evenness and equalness. It's a single blissful expanse. In other words, it's a single expanse of unremitting joy. When we realize that the essence of every single one of our points of view is our own awareness, increasingly we feel completely at ease. We feel a sense of utter relaxation, but this isn't a relaxation of passivity. The more we rest totally and completely as the basic space of our awareness, the more we enter the realm where we already live, which is this realm I call no more learning. You see, as we already include and contain all points of view, who would learn what? What have we ever needed to learn? Everything is already learned and it's already contained within us. So when we trick ourselves into believing we're learning something, it's just like a giant biofeedback loop. We're learning something we already know, so to speak. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything is already contained within us. And when we simply rest as the essence of every perception, rather than as its label, rather than as taking ourselves to be that label, then we open up, we unleash an immense power and force that is the true reality I'll say it, the very scary word omniscience, the word everyone is afraid to use. But this omniscience, this reality of knowing or learning, is inseparable from who we are. It's entirely inseparable from our awareness. Just like the color of a ruby is inseparable from the gem. There's no way to separate it out. But if we spend our lives saying, oh, I'm this point of view, I'm that point of view, or I need to meditate to get enlightened, or I need to circumambulate this mountain or that mountain, or I'm in Paris, but somebody says, oh, no, you have to go to India to get to Paris. Well, constantly, it's a wild goose chase. We spend our entire lives chasing rainbows when all the while, what we are is, it's wherever we go, there we are. No, wherever we go, there we are. We have no location. Our location is the vast expanse of infinite space. That is our location. We have nowhere to get to. And we have nowhere to get to, and there's no one going there. It's just like as a personal identity is unborn, where would it dwell and where would it be destined to go? You see, we already are this basic space that is entirely complete in itself, and we can't realize that without just resting. That means when the perception comes up, whatever it is, rather than getting involved in its label as being something. Just like the rainbow in the sky, if a rainbow in the sky appears and we say, oh, there's the rainbow, I want to find the end of the rainbow, or I'm going to run after it. Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? No matter if we jumped into the sky and we tried to grab the rainbow, there'd be nothing there. It's all pure space. So you see, if we get caught up in the label, whatever it is, we're on a wild goose chase. Has anyone ever tried to chase a wild goose? Or, in the U.S., we have these things called 4-H bears. Maybe they have these in other parts of the world, too, where they have something called a greased pig contest. And people try to hold on to a greased pig, grab a greased pig and hold on to it. Well, all points of view are like that. We can't even hold on to any of these points of view if we try. They're like a greased pig. Even if we take ourselves to be somebody, we never really buy into that. And when we just rest naturally as awareness and have this first pivotal realization and all points of view, no matter what they are, included and contained within us, then suddenly we start to have more and more really dramatic insights about the reality of who we are. We start to absolutely realize that every one of these points of view, no matter what it is empty, pure, and wholly positive. That every point of view, no matter what it is the vast expanse of basic space and nothing else. That every point of view that we've ever had in our entire lives that we're having now and that every point of view we'll have in the future, that it has never been, isn't now, and never will be anything but basic space. So, one after another, we have these sublime realizations about who we are, and rather than the points of view that are swirling around always being about a personal identity and, oh, I feel sad, or that one made me mad, or what's my career, or how much money do I have in the bank, or does my hair look good, or, instead of having all these kinds of things swirling around, our thoughts, our points of view that are swirling around more and more, they're about basic space. They're about the wonder of basic space, about the magical display, the magnificent display of basic space, that we've taken ourselves perhaps to be all of these labels, and suddenly we start to realize that all these labels we've taken ourselves to be, that they're poof. Poof, like David Copperfield. He's a magician, poof. Everything disappears in pure space. We're the ultimate magician, basic space. All these points of view, no matter what they are, they're like greased pigs. And when we when we rest, we see, we can't hold on to any of these things even if we try. The more we rest naturally, we realize and this is a realization I had. I thought, wow, I took myself to be an individual who, like some mornings I'd go to bed at night and I'd say I had a backache all day. Well, once I realized the true nature of my reality, I thought, wow, I never had one day when every single point of view I had all day was I have a backache, I have a backache, I have a backache. It's impossible to maintain any point of view like that. So you see, all these are assumptions that are arrived at the end of the day. Maybe at the most 20 times during the day I had a point of view, I have a backache. But I added them all up together in some kind of weird equation and said at the end of the day, I had a backache all day. So you see, the more we just rest as this basic space that includes and contains all points of view, the more we really realize what's going on. We've never been fooled. We've always been this basic space. And it really is humorous. It really is humorous that, at least I've found it so, that I just spent so much time all wrapped up in all this stuff. But it was just, what I learned. All these points of view were swirling around, countless, ceaseless points of view. I decided to take some of them and put them in a corral and call them me. And then I put more and more points of view in the corral, the corral of me. But, who was aware of the corral of me all the while? That's the thing that's funny about it. Awareness is the monarch. Awareness is the great ruler. If you want to be royalty, you already are. Our very own awareness is the royal awareness. It's the royal awareness that is the master of all points of view. There's no point of view that can get awareness, that can overtake it, that can make it suffer, that can make it into anything other than it is. Basic space is basic space. It's just basic space that is entirely aware, never affected by anything. All points of view, no matter what they are the essence of basic space and nothing else. There's no point of view that's anything like this little petal on a flower that has its own boundary or perimeter, and it's holed up in there nice and safe, being a something. Every point of view, no matter what it is the entirety of basic space and nothing else. You see, basic space doesn't come together and separate into points of view. It's never been fragmented, split, divided in any way. It's basic space and nothing else. So no point of view has ever had a boundary, a contraction, a constriction, an identification, a fixation. All these are just more points of view. If we go to someone and we say, well, I want to realize who I am. I want to realize awareness, my true nature. I want to be enlightened or whatever it is. And that someone says, well, your problem is you have an identity and it needs to be dissolved, or you have an I and it needs to be annihilated. Well, that's dualistic. That's not non-duality. Non-duality means indivisible basic space with nothing going on. So you see any of these things like an I, that's just another point of view. It's equal to the slippery pig. It's equal to a dog or a cat or a cell phone or any other view. There's no special point of view called an I or an identity that's like the mainframe computer of all the other points of view. There are just all these points of view that are absolutely equal and even in being nothing other than the basic space of awareness.